Hello, hello, hello. All right. Let's do this. AI for all, closing ceremony. Fire. Yes. Thank you, Gary. All right. Share screen. Let's do the full window. StreamYard. Cool. All right. Give it like one for a couple to go on Twitter. X now. But this is happening again. So everybody, well, doing some for deciding who would win, but everybody was really, which was fun. Let's go here. Tweet this out again. Retweet. Click. Starting. Give it like one more minute. Oh, hey, Ironclad. All right. Yeah, I'll hold this for a second. What is up, Lightning devs? Hey, Will. Yeah. No, this has been a crazy last couple of days because for the judging, we did a in-person judging event in San Francisco. And while we were there, we kind of reviewed all the projects that got submitted for it, and we're kind of ranking them all against each other. And like there were some really close cut ones because some of these things were just so amazing. I mean, like, I don't know, everybody really loved all of the Nostr projects. And then like, it's really cool how we've kind of pushed forward the L402 specification. Because before this, I don't think anybody was using it besides, I think Stackwork in a couple of ways for their internal stuff. And then Lightning Labs internals for doing like pool and stuff. But yeah. Okay, let's kick off. So stream starts here. Add to stream. Presentations. Okay, welcome everybody. Closing ceremony for AI for All. It's been a crazy month. So just a little backstory on this is, let me just make sure this is still good. Yeah, just a little backstory on this. So I kind of had this idea like 2 months ago-ish. And the reason why was because I saw a lot of movement around AI, the new wave of generative AI applications. But what I was concerned with was the direction that a lot of this was going, of that a lot of it was moving towards centralized players, and a lot of it was moving toward, hey, there's basically no monetization model for this one, right? Because the reason why it starts moving towards a centralized model is because it's very, very hard to do like a pay per use. And I was like, hey, we have Lightning, we can do this. And so as we kind of move forward through the month, I learned a lot just from interacting with a bunch of people building on this, just for everybody who participated in the hackathon, but also just working with some companies who like help participate in the hackathon and who are kind of associated and around it in different ways. And yeah, I mean, this was just like an amazing experience for me, and I think for everybody involved. And so thank you in advance for everybody. So we're going to go over some of the people who made this possible. So like the organizers, sponsors, and then we're going to announce the winners. And that's based off of the judging that we did in person in San Francisco last Thursday. Had a bunch of Bitcoin people come in, and they were judging all the projects. And if you guys want to review the projects, they're all available. I put them in the Feyty Replit, on the Feyty Replit. And so you can just kind of go and pick around one of them, right? So all the ones that were labeled AI for all were submissions for the hackathon, and there were a lot of them. And so we'll kind of go over, and so let's get started. So here we go. So first off, I'd like to thank Feyty. So I work for Feyty, but Feyty is also, this was kind of like one of my first big projects with Feyty. It's cool getting to work with the first time with the team at a larger scale. And it was really awesome. I mean, like, special thanks to Renata and to Obi. They were able to come help with the judging as well. And like making this whole thing possible. And so, yeah, so anybody's interested in Feyty. And we also did like some Feyty mod workshops during the hackathon. It was really good. So yeah, so special thanks to them. Special thanks to Stack. Paul from Stack has been like a huge supporter this entire time. He was one of the first people I talked to about this idea. And as a co-organizer for it, like definitely made it possible. He was there as well for the judging on Thursday. And like just always amazing to talk to him. Anybody, it's like, I always like to say that Paul is the most interesting guy in Bitcoin. So, and he's also just doing amazing work with artificial intelligence. And so if any of you are interested in Stack, just make sure to check them out. Thanks to Replit. I mean, like I've been a long time Replit user and it was really awesome getting to use them at sort of a larger scale as part of the hackathon. So doing all the submissions through them, using the bounties program, which I think I'm the first guy to like use the bounties program at scale, and learned a lot from that, and like saw some really interesting ways to use it. And it was also just during the hackathon, it was really helpful because a lot of this was focused on like remote submissions. And so we had a lot of people submitting who are like primarily coding on their phones, and Replit's kind of the only game in town for doing that. So kind of like bringing in new devs who wouldn't otherwise have been able to contribute this was like super valuable. And then special thank you to all of the sponsors, right? So Hive Mind, Satoshi, Spirit of Satoshi, Prem, Zebedee, Ellen Capital, Lightspark, and Base 58. And so we took on a couple additional sponsors as we were going along. But like every single one of you, like thank you so much for all the help that you did for all this. And then also like to shout out Lightning Labs just for like, well, not like technically a sponsor, just like everybody on the Lightning Labs team has just been super helpful, especially around like the L402 stuff, doing some workshops, like showing up for judging as well. Right. So thank you all, to all you guys for that. Cool. All right. So, yeah, so we've got a couple more slides. So in numbers, right? So we had 173 people participate in the hackathon across 44 different projects. We did 23 workshops over the course of this last month. And so those were all kind of weighted to the front. And so sort of the order that the hackathon went in was the first 2 weeks or so were mostly doing workshops and like teaching people how to build using L402, using Nostr, using Lightning, using different AI tools, those kinds of things. And then the next 2 weeks were really focused on building. And during that, I had about 90 calls with just people at different stages, right? So like just follow-up calls with different people working on projects, follow-up calls on people just like figuring out a bounty for them or figuring out a project they could work on if this was like their first hackathon. And over the course of this whole month, we like got a lot done and got a lot of people to participate in a hackathon who like probably, I don't know the specific numbers that we had on it but there were a lot of people who'd never done one before and had never done either AI or Bitcoin development who like joined in, which was pretty amazing. I was really excited to see that. The hackathon prizes, there's 14K worth of like Bitcoin prizes, and there's a bunch of non-cash prizes. The Replit bounties, I was like, this was like the first time that anybody, like we kept calling them like Replit bounty experiments because nobody had ever used them this way before. And I thought it was really successful. There was a lot of people who like completely outside of both the AI and Bitcoin communities who came in and participated in the hackathon for it. We did $2,500 worth of Replit bounty prizes, which was fun. And then one of the things that I didn't foresee taking such a big play during the hackathon, but ended up being it, and there were a bunch of projects that ended up using it, was Nostr, and specifically NIP90, which Pablo created and that we kind of featured during this hackathon and really started like pouring some gas on. Like it really turned out to be like this amazing tool in terms of actually bringing AI for all, because you can have anybody go execute AI compute for you and just pay them in Bitcoin, and you don't have to know what's going on in the back end, right? And that's just like a really cool way of doing that over Nostr. Like even within Feyty, this is now something that we're looking at as like a really cool way potentially for like monetizing community resources that we hadn't thought of. That was something cool to come out of the hackathon for it. And so here we go. So let's go to why everyone's here. Let me just check real fast on comments. So I'm not missing anything. Okay, I'm not missing anything. We're good. So let's go on to the actual winners, right? And so judging criteria, we announced this at the beginning, and this is like kind of what we went over when we were going over this, was that like value prop, innovation, AI and Lightning integration, transparency. So building in public, like it was really cool just seeing people for the build in public of that, like learning in public, like how does Bitcoin work? How do some of these generative AI tools work? what are kind of like the edges that people are running into and kind of learning together in public, which was really fun across Bolt.fun and the Discord that we had. Execution, UI, UX, and je ne sais quoi, which is, but yeah, so this was like the judging criteria that was used for it. And so let's actually go into the winners. There were 4 tracks, right? And then there's an overall winner. And so we're going to go through each of them. And then there were also, like I said, like a bunch of bounties that people have claimed. And so some of them still remain unclaimed. So I'm going to be closing those. If your project didn't hasn't already like submitted and been fulfilled for one of those, just definitely contact me after or whatever, right? But I'll be closing those soon. Cool. All right. So the first one I believe is Bitcoin education. The winner was BitDevs Upgraded. So if any of you guys didn't see this one yet, basically there's like a standard BitDevs website. So BitDevs is a developers that have like New York, but it kind of turned into this whole thing. And now there's BitDevs all over the place, and a bunch of real bunch of cool places that do this now, right? So you've got like SDevs, you've got Austin BitDevs, and they all have a website that I think burned a couple of years ago. And so basically Steven DeLorme and the Atlanta BitDevs guys, when this project, they revamped the entire site, and then in order to do thing to be talked for everything submitted, which was super cool and super valuable. And like one of the cool things for it was that we had some BitDevs organizers who were there who were immediately like, hey, I want to do this on my website. This is super valuable as somebody or myself. So they won $1,000 paid in BTC and 6 months of tier 1 Lightspark service, $1,000 of Torque credits. Torque is Elling's lightning management software, lightning node management software, and a seat at an upcoming base 58 class. So congratulations, BitDevs Upgraded. And then next up is for training, we had Pal. And so Bitcoin Pal is e-currency hodler. And I think they were some of the most in public too, right? It was like really cool for them because I think this was their first AI project, but they've been working on Bitcoin for a while. Bitcoin Pal is a crowdsourcing platform to train LLMs with Bitcoin. And, you know what? I should just go show each one of these. Well, that's okay. Basically what you're doing is you're asking it questions about, and when it doesn't have a good answer, you go look up answer and then DR into, and then it trains off of the answers that you're getting. It's really cool feedback loop for it. Using light enabled payments the entire time for it, which was pretty cool. So this is basically a way that you can train a model to get better and better at answering Bitcoin questions, incentivized with Lightning, which was fun. And so for all tracks, have the same prizes over here, which is $1,000 paid in BTC, the 6 months of tier 1 Lightspark service, $1,000 of Torque credits, and a seat at an upcoming base 58 class. And then next up, I believe is privacy. And the winner of the privacy track was Netonomy. So Netonomy was a really cool project. They were the only ones to use Web 5. So like the TBD's Web 5 stack for doing decentralized nodes. And so it was a really cool way of basically making like a Nostr interface that used machines in order to do the AI calculations for it, but allow you to you're in a decentralized web node that's embedded in the browser, then optionally giving you the ability to privately back that up on a cloud service, which is pretty cool. Right? So congratulations to Netonomy. And they won $1,000 in BTC, 6 months of tier 1 Lightspark service, $1,000 of credits and of Torque credits, and a seat at an upcoming base 58 class. And the last track we had was machine payments and agents. And the winner of that one is Flow. So this was a really tight one for the judges. Flow was a submit from, I think, some of the guys who work around Albi. And basically what Flow is a no-code AI workflow in order to, it's like an existing N8N workflow where it allows you to navigate L402s as part of it, right? And so it's basically taking like a no-code tool chain and being like, okay, well, now you can also, as part of this chain, like interact with the Lightning Network and pay L402s, right? Which was pretty cool. And so really great project, and everyone really loved this one. So That's $1,000 paid in BTC, 6 months of Tier 1 Lightspark service, $1,000 of torque credits, and a seat at an upcoming base 58 class. And the overall winner is, drumroll, except I don't know how to do a drum roll on StreamYard. That's okay. Is Photovolt. So Photovolt was a submission that it was really cool working with them during this hackathon because I saw their project evolve in a bunch of different ways as they were going through it, right? And so Photovolt started as kind of like a very specific how do you use Lightning wrapped APIs, right? AI enabled APIs. And then off of that, they evolved to the L402 specification. And so once they'd learned about that, and then after learning about the L402 specification, they ended up seeing the Nostr data vending machines, and the developers who were working on this were like, hey, that's a really cool idea. We should do that. And Nostr machines in a super interesting way as part of their project. But yeah, these guys were voted the overall winner for it. And like they used AI and Bitcoin in all sorts of really interesting ways, especially with the Nostr data vending machines being able to publish jobs simultaneously. And the later on jobs can only be finished once the first job's implemented. That was pretty cool. And then something they wanted to eventually implement was having the agent be able to do it themselves. But I don't think I got that part working. But it was really, really amazing. One was $10,000 in BTC. Then 1 year of Tier 1 Lightspark service, 6 months of the Zebedee API Premier access, $1,000 of torque credits, and a seat at an upcoming base 58 class. So yeah, I think that's all the prizes that we had there. So just kind of last thing, I just want to say thank you again, right? So my first time kind of hosting a hackathon in this way of doing it remotely for this one. Like again, the kind of impetus for this for me was seeing all of the hackathons happening in SF based off of AI and being like, hey, well, this isn't just about SF, right? This is like the opportunity to help billions of people potentially, right? If we can monetize this and scale it and get it out to these people, to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to have access to it. And so seeing the project submissions coming in from guys like guys working with Kala, guys working out of Brazil, working out of places like a lot of out of before, like that was super. Also, just who again, so thank you, Feyty, like just everybody at Feyty. Thank you, Stack. Thank you, Replit. Like, thank you, all the sponsors, right? Like, it's absolutely, and thanks everybody. Really amazing experience, and I hope that you guys got some valuable stuff out of it. We saw a lot of really cool projects that got started that are going to continue, that have said they're going to continue working on this, and then also just the clarification of the L402 specification and the NIP 90 specifications. I think are really, really, really cool opportunities for builders to continue monetizing AI applications and deploying them at scale, which is going to be awesome. So thanks again, everybody. It's just been absolutely amazing. And hope you'll be around when we do something like this next time. Thanks. Let me just check out the comments. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks, everybody.